Hello, guys, and welcome back to Dil Se United, your one stop for all Manchester United news and football news in general. Now, the buzz around Old Trafford is alive again. Matthijs Cunha is in, Bryan Mbuemo is in, and the fans are dreaming of fast breaks, fluid football, and finally getting the attack side of Manchester United back on track. However, on paper, these are exciting players, and Cunha brings flair, Mbuemo brings pace and productivity as well, based on the goals he scored. But let's just hit pause for a moment, because if we truly want to move forward, I think कि ये दो signings हमारे लिए काफी नहीं रहेगी. I know there's Deadwood and all still to be cleared from the club, but these signings are not sufficient for us to have a good season like on paper. So we need to understand where we are still falling short. Now, and the cold hard truth is that United didn't just have an attacking problem last season, they had a structural problem as well. जिसकी वजह से हमने देखे the amount of goals that were conceded. There are the numbers to prove that structural problem. Let's start with the basics. Goals scored last season, the Premier League, 44. Goals conceded, on the other hand, 54. That's a minus 10 goal difference. And now this was across 38 games, which means he basically less than 1.2 goals scored per game by United and 1.42 goals conceded per game. Now, when a club of United stature is shipping more goals than they're scoring, it's not the lack of forwards that is the biggest issue here. It's a failure in defensive solidity. You can say midfield protection, and also goalkeeping consistency. Uh, Now, adding Cunha and Mbuemo might get you from 44 goals to 54 goals. 100% that's possible. If you're still leaking more than 50 goals per season, that won't make any difference. क्या होगा 16 से भैया top half of the table आ जाएंगे. That is not what we want in the next season, is it? Now let's talk about XG, basically expected goals जो होते हैं. So the XG stat for United was 53.46 last season. They actually scored just 44. That's an underperformance of nearly 10 goals. That means chances were being created, hence the higher rate of expected goals, but not converted. So sure, Cunha and Mbuemo might help close that gap, but here's what should concern us more as a United fan. Like if we dig deeper into the shots data, so 350 shots by United last season, only 175 on target. That's exactly 50% accuracy, which is not at all elite, not at all clinical. 15 shots had hit the woodwork, and only 2 goals came from free kicks out of 15 attempts. Now, these aren't just random numbers, yeah. They tell a story of a team that lacks ruthlessness and precision, and even more crucially, a team that couldn't control matches enough to tilt things in their own way. Now let's shift to the real red flag, according to me, that is. So United conceded 54 goals, a number that is like uncomfortably high for a club aiming for top 4, let alone a title challenge. Now, why is that? Now, if we try to find the reason, now because the midfield was too easily bypassed at times. Casemiro, who did improve in the latter part of the season, but wasn't that effective. The defenders were often isolated, and the goalkeeper, Andre Onana, committed mistakes that shouldn't have been committed, and those mistakes led to goals. Now, whether it was distribution, sweeping, or just plain shot stopping, the back line did not have the confidence, of a true defensive unit in the Premier League last year. Now, here's another staggering data. 1,035 touches in the opposition box from us. That's the 4th most in the Premier League last season, but it didn't translate to dominance or defensive control because on the other side, United were being carved up by teams. Now that is where a new holding midfielder or a modern, commanding goalkeeper could have made a world of difference. Not just adding another playmaker or striker, but someone who stops the bleeding. As Sir Alex also said, it is the defense that wins you titles. Bottom line. Now, it's easy to get dazzled by attacking signings. It really feels like progress. It helps in selling shirts. But if Amorim and the board really want to elevate this team, the focus should have been more clearer. And I know people will say कि डेडवुड की वजह से हुआ, बट जो रूमर्स भी आ रहे हैं, जो टॉक्स हो रहे हैं, उसमें यही दिख रहा है कि यूनाइटेड आर फोकस्ड ऑन अटैकिंग. I'm not saying कि अटैकिंग पे नहीं फोकस होना चाहिए था, but an all-round approach would have been better for us. A midfield destroyer, like someone to shield the back four, and जिसकी वजह से defenders भी calm रहे, isolated ना हो. A reliable goalkeeper. I've heard कि United are still approaching for a goalkeeper and have Aston Villa goalkeeper Emi Martinez as well on the target, but कितना true है वो only time will tell. Without these pieces, adding Cunha and Mbuemo is like changing the engine oil of a car while ignoring the flat tires. Simple as that. ठीक है भाई, चला लोगे गाड़ी, इंजन ऑयल डाल दिया, पर कितने देर चला पाओगे, कितने देर ही सपोर्ट कर लेंगे तुम्हारे लीकिंग गोल्स को. Again, United fans, it's okay to be excited. It's okay to dream big for the next season, but sometimes you have to stay realistic, stay critical, and demand more than just shiny names and fancy forward signings. That's all. क्योंकि अगर फाउंडेशन ही सॉलिड नहीं होगा भाई, गोल्स कंसीडर्ड वाला कॉलम ही श्रिंक हमारा नहीं होगा, तब तक हमारी पोजीशन जैसा हम चाहते हैं, जिस प्रोग्रेस जो टाइप का प्रोग्रेस हम चाहते हैं वो नहीं. Nothing against the attacking signings. Welcome Mattheus Cunha, welcome Bryan and Mbuemo. But unless the leaks of our defense aren't fixed, the leaks in midfield aren't fixed, this isn't a revival, and it will be again, as we have seen over the years, a temporary distraction for United fans. और कोई नहीं तो मैं तो होप बिल्कुल करूँगा कि मेरी बात गलत हो and United proves us wrong. But let's see, guys. We have to stay critical and think about these things as well. Now, as I always say, let's hope for the best and see कि United with all these new signings क्या करता है finally next season में. पहला games against Leeds wasn't that attractive, I would say. So let's see और क्या होता है. अब Mbuemo भी आ गए हैं साइड में, तो और creativity hopefully देखने को मिले हमें in our pre-season 2. So that is all for now. Keep watching Dil Se United for more such updates, and let me know your comments also on these signings and whether United should go for a goalkeeper, possibly a new defender or a new midfielder this season. And also, if you like this video, please share it to a friend and subscribe my channel to show your support. That is all.